The Tales of Arthurian Legend are perfect for a video game. I've delved in and reviewed some games based on it, such as King Arthur the role-playing wargame 1 and 2. While both games were great conceptually, the execution was lacking a bit, especially for the sequel. However, we now have another game taking a shot at it with The Hand of Merlin. The publisher, Versus Evil, provided me with a free code to take a look at today in early access, and while I do appreciate the code, it will not deter me from a fair and honest review. Instead of role-playing war game, we have a turn-based RPG, which is not as ambitious as the previous two games, but can this smaller scale work to the developer's benefit? So when you start a new game, you can choose between easy and normal mode, but it honestly should just be renamed to normal and hard mode because normal mode is way harder than it needs to be. We'll get into that. And then you also can pick a core, and Merlin is the only one you can start with. Not sure how to unlock the other one, and the core will determine the spells you can use during combat. And I recommend that you unlock the healing spell as soon as possible because healing in general is very scarce. So once you pick that spell, you pick your characters. There's only 3 characters to pick for now, at least for me. Have to unlock the rest, and then you're off. So the game basically progresses from these storybook adventures, like these storybook choose your own adventures. It's very similar to King Arthur the role-playing war game, so I was glad to see this element still remain here. The artwork is pretty good too. So you come across these events as you traverse the map. At first they're very fun, but they end up repeating very quickly within repeat playthroughs, even when you traverse down different paths. So it almost feels like the choices you make really don't matter. Some of these choices that you do make may result in combat, and at other times combat will just be inevitable for a variety of other reasons. And the combat here is pretty basic stuff. You move your characters XCOM style across the field of battle. You have 2 action points. You can use 1 to move, 1 ability, and 1 for your ability, 2 for your movement, or 2 for abilities. It honestly gets very boring very quickly with repeat encounters and just a general very low enemy variety. The AI also just has one-track mind to just surround and kill one target regardless of anything else. So it gets very old very quickly and honestly is just boring. So you can level up your characters when you obtain 40 renown. There's also a ton of other resources to maintain, like gold, food, and all that stuff. But renown is what you use to level up your characters, and leveling up your characters will unlock another skill for you to use with that character. While you do have a choice of the skill that you want to pick, the stats are automatically increased. So I wish you did have more control, maybe some points you can distribute for the character, but it is what it is. So leveling up is not the only way you can improve your characters and yourself as well. You can also buy better equipment at blacksmith. It's pretty basic system, honestly. You have 2 choices for a weapon and 2 choices for an armor for each character. You can also find new characters to play as during travel. And I ended up finding one when I only had like 1 character left from a combat encounter. So I added them to the party, but I'm not sure if you're limited to 3 members at a time, or you can just add up more, because if you could, that'd be pretty awesome. If you're limited to 3, that is pretty whack. So eventually, like I mentioned before, you will have to abandon a run or you'll get killed, and possibly much earlier than you anticipated, most likely. I'm fine with dying and repeating runs. I mean, it's kind of the standard for these roguelikes and roguelites is to never beat it your first time or even your 100th time, but you're always inching, getting closer, doing better, and getting key milestones. And you always feel like, at least for the best ones, that okay, I lose but I get something out of it, not only knowledge of the game, but maybe like a bit of a boost to help you get to the next part, some unlock. And unfortunately, there's really not much to reward you if you don't do very particular and very certain tasks. And honestly, it's just not a great system, and I really don't like that. Most good roguelikes that I play, roguelites, they tend to reward you and they tend to make you feel good. And this one just fails to do it. It always feels like you have to start from scratch. And like I said, with how repetitive everything gets, it is very boring. And overall, I'm just very unimpressed with what I see so far. I mean, there is potential to get better. All early access games are basically like that. But it's just not very interesting at this point. Combat is just not very enjoyable and repeats way too often. There's a lack of rewards when you lose on runs, and it just feels too damn punishing. I mean, I get it. It's early access, and they're still trying to figure out what they want. The direction of the game could always change. But honestly, there's just better games that do this concept better under versus Evil's banner, such as Banner Saga. I know that's a full game, but yeah, just I'll get there. If you want more of a CRPG feel, there's always Pillars of Eternity under them as well. And the icing on the cake for me is just that this game is being sold for $24.99, and that's way too much for an early access title. I mean, most early access titles that are sold at that price point are usually higher budgeted games and games that have a lot more to offer, and they're just usually a little bit better. Usually, not always, but usually are a little bit better or a little bit more ambitious in what they do. Honestly, it's way too much. Hard pass. I can't recommend this. Better games out there, as I said. Overall, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you guys for watching. As always, please like, share, comment, and subscribe. Let me know your thoughts and possible future games that you would like me to review, either early access or fully released games. Either way, thank you for watching as always, and this is Powerhouse signing off.